Interesting.
Okay.
Well, good luck to them. I'm excited to see it.
Yep.
Should be a good game.
Everybody playing.
Wow. Lightning fast. We're already there.
Much better than yesterday, right?
Teleporting straight into draft on Serpent Beach. Verticality, the name of the game. Unfair. We saw them kind of really anchoring on this BK in the last set we got to see with them. I mean, he's still good on this map. I feel like maybe lower priority though than some others.
Yeah, BK definitely has been a long time thing on the map. Definitely for the vertical aspect. I'd say the flanks are going to be the bigger issue this time still. Yesterday we saw a lot of Andro, Eevee, Vatu, so I'm expecting those more now.
Yeah, Ruckus Band early. Barrack Band is really interesting by Sophia. Barrack was someone that I really did not have anyone talking about going into this today. No one mentioned Barrack being particularly strong, but Unfair was really leaning on it in vocal. Playing that Barrack, staying on point, really holding things down. But it's 4 tanks banned. I feel like I'm teleporting back in time with Rom taken first by Sophia, and Unfair looking for cripple for the Rom and some big AoE heals to deathball forward, and it probably ignore the Rom.
It looks like a bit of bait into. I don't see a Fernando ban here, do I? So it's pretty interesting.
No.
For a team not to pick it, it looks like they want to do something about that on point. Maybe it's bait.
Yeah, the Ashe early over Nando. I mean, it's not a bad map for her. Her ability to cross from one side of high ground to the other immediately, whereas Nando kind of has to take a lot of shield damage to make that happen. I get it, and obviously, okay. I mean, I think Unfair have just shown all their cards. I mean, it's on the table. They're playing Grover, Ashe, Eevee. They are running at you. They're going to try to kill you. Sophia need to protect this Corvus very, very closely.
Yeah. Both are looking kind of aggressive to start, really. So I guess both teams really want to start and get the advantage now. So it's good now. I'm not seeing too much very slow play anymore. I think that just shows you the stakes up for grab today. Yeah,
and Nando coming this late in the draft is crazy to me. And Khan now to peel potentially for them, right? So you have good, decent contest on point. You have 2 flankers. This Grover can just move with his tanks, though. So interesting picks both ways. I feel like the aggression from the flankers are going to decide this, but now with the BK, that slows things down a little bit for Unfair. They can't, be as unchained because they have to be within the threshold that Bomb King can really contest.
As well, it looks like Unfair are definitely using the server to their advantage. As you see, there's 4 Blaster champions. If you want to get Ash and Nanda. Yeah, really interesting. And Sophia, on the other hand, they got their Maeve on the ping. I don't know how that's going to be. I'm guessing that's going to be another Alex pick.
How is Vatu on ping?
Vatu is kind of
ping specifically.
Ping. Yeah. It's just like all the rest of them on ping. It's not the most fun, but good players. I'm sure they'll be able to handle it if they're picking it.
Yeah, I found it. I was thinking about what they picked. I know that Maeve is definitely playable. I know it sucks, but I know it's playable. Vatu was the one I wasn't quite as sure about because I know that even when I was playing him right when he came out, it was like I felt like if I got put on like LATAM North even instead of NA, it was just like it felt a lot harder for me. I also just wasn't that good at him, so that that pays for that. But I think protect the backline for Sophia. This Corvus has to stay alive and protect the Bomb King for Unfair. But that's a game plan that they're used to. That's what they were doing in their previous sets. So I think we will see how they can make that happen here in game 1 of this winner's semifinal set. Sophia versus Unfair. We're ready to go here into Serpent Beach. See how they choose to start their mids. We'll see actually what loadouts they start with on the board. Anything catching your eye here? Doesn't seem like it.
Not really. No. It looks very, very standard to me. All the talents look the same. We got Bomb King on the Royal Subjects. Eevee, funnily enough, yesterday we saw a lot of Snow Globe towards yesterday, but it looks like we're back to the Wormhole here today.
I feel like that's a player preference. I actually did not know that Wormhole was nerfed until right now. Not Wormhole. Royal Subjects was nerfed until right now. Did not know that it lost 2 ammo. So good to know. I'm assuming that just means you just cram more ammo in your build, right? I can't imagine any other solution than that.
Absolutely, Yep.
Wow. Yeah. That's a lot more than people. My old build would put me at like 11, but either way, he'll be a little bit less able to keep laying that damage down. That's what he's going to have to do here in this first mid, as both teams, as expected, take high with Vatu on a hard flank.
Interesting to see Fernando went straight to the point here. I thought they might just go for the full 5, try and stop the big dive of Sophia, which they could. Their comp looks like it's gonna do, but seems not. Red team seems to be taking the cap, but not anymore.
Love that play early. Have Leighton peel for... Invoke a peel for Leighton as they tried to kite away into the backside, but now caught by the flanker, but able to stay alive, and Crunchy somehow the first one to go down. They're applying a lot of pressure onto Invoke on point and just staying a little bit too long. That's 1 for 1, but Avaleo trading it right back immediately. No tanks now on the board, but Corvus, the one I thought was going to be the weakest, is the first to pick up 2 kills, now down to a 3 versus 3 with no healing. With Bones being the one down, they all have to kite away, give up some cap time, but Invoke's pressure on the point early put them in such a good position to retake as long as they don't bleed out here.
Yeah, you mentioned Corvus as well being the one to get picks. He's changed as well. He's got a bit more damage as well, so this guy feels like a bit like a damage when he's right in front of you. So I'd expect to see him get some kills if it's played well.
Invoke wasted a lot of shield there early. He's going to have to kite back. Avaleo now the one putting pressure onto the point, and a cripple in the middle. Could be the chance to move, but Avaleo overextends for it. Whirlwind tried to save him, but just too late with Nosy catching Pixel as well. That's the only 3 players left for Unfair. It's tanks, but there's just too much damage for them to do it. Nosy is cleaning up everyone, and that early pressure does not pay off for Unfair. I think Invoke will just try to rush it. You have to time it better with your Eevee. Walks in, lost shield, suddenly Avaleo has no peel, and it all falls apart to give Sophia the first point.
Sophia doing really well there, getting a good quadra on Nosy. Very interesting to see as well, like they are on the ping disadvantage, I'm pretty sure, and managed to get a quadra here, so I'm seeing a lot of skill here.
Yeah, I think Maeve on ping, other than like rubber banding after pounce, I don't think it's as bad as Vatu probably is, and already charging up this Midnight, but a great Assert Dominance, getting pressure. We'll see how much they can actually gain from this area. Again, this is what happened, I believe, with them last time they played this map. They took the space and didn't do much more from there, but Leighton really wants to kill this Corvus, diving the backline, that shield card, keeping him up through that pressure, and they turn around and peel them all off. They can't afford to get too aggressive because they have to keep this cart contested, so these dives, unless they already have the advantage, not really going to work out for them.
Yeah, I think on the Ashe as well, Leighton's going to be one to watch today. I think earlier yesterday, he seemed a bit uncomfortable, seemed to be just getting up to speed, but I'm seeing a much more cohesive play from him today, so it's very good. I like to see it.
Oh, for sure. I like his timing with the team, because that was the big struggle last time, but right now, Crunchy makes it up, forces out the Whirlwind. Now caught up top, might be eating this King Bomb, but knows to kite away. So safe back there, effectively absorbing 2 ultimates for nothing, with this card getting significantly closer. Great positioning now from Sophia as well. Maeve and Vatu both contesting different angles that no other character can really get away with. So the overpower comes out for Sophia. This could be how they open the door, especially with an early pick on Avaleo.
Wow. We've seen a lot of action on the high ground here. I think these two teams have really shown what the map is about, as you said right at the start with the verticals. It's really going to be a big high ground fight now to see who wins this. But it looks to be very comfortable. Sophia still. They're still pushing. The flanks look to be the advantage here. Bumpkin looks to be a bit struggling with the 2 flanks flying above his head.
It's just I feel like it's just not a great map for him. I feel like playing up top and controlling Torch, you know, that there's only so much you can do on defense. On attack, you have a very linear approach option, and I'm assuming that Strixus is hovering up and down to show me that there's Resilience 3 across for Nosy, DPS Eagle, and Crunchy. I mean, cripple lasts less time, less knockback from Jolt, stun from Grumpy, less knockback from Ashe. There's a lot of CC that Unfair has that makes sense to kind of rush that. What are they losing out on for that? Is it just Haven? Is it Master Writing?
Yeah, you'd probably be right with that. I should also mention as well, I mentioned a lot about the ult choices on each team. The red team has a lot of ultimates that are very CC based, but not enough to like damage and actually get something off it. So it's very interesting. It looks like a lot of their comps being countered by the Resilience. But yeah, what's going on here?
I mean, they Corvus ults to counter the Eevee ult as they go in right now, so not able to get too much off of that. The only ult that Unfair had kind of wasted, and now since they don't get a kill, they just stagnate in the middle. Over here, get torn apart. They did get 39%. Again, throwing in Vocal on point, it means you have a less advantageous fight, but you're going to have a potentially better retake if you can win it, but you have to win it in the first place here. With Assert Dominance on board, that is a way they can open things up right now, but they're all stacking in this choke point, all dismounted early. Who's going to be able to get this touch?
Looks like they're going for it early. It's going to be up to Ashen not to die too quickly, because she seems to be the one with the ult right now. There are a few more ults coming up. Bumpkin coming up.
So aggressive.
Whirlwind's coming up as well. Yep. Oh, and they've dropped 2 just as I spoke about them. It's about the commentator's test.
They just got so aggressive on them. They recognized that everyone was pincered in a corner. Absolutely no map control for Unfair as they tried to retake. I think you had to maybe just send someone dial anyone in another direction, but they all just corralled themselves in one corner. Surrounded, collapsed on it. The Rumult came in, stunned like 2 people, instantly killed Bomb King and Grover, and from that point it was just done for them. Now, it's down 0-3, looking at another great offense potentially from Sophia.
Totally agree with you. I think all of them did bunch up, and that's very difficult to do when you want to retake. You want to cause a few distractions, especially when people know what your best retake option is, right? So, yeah, looks like it's costing them now. It's like a very good 3-0 now. It's going to be very comfortable if they don't change something now.
One huge thing I'm noticing from Sophia is that I feel like they're never giving up a kill for free. I feel like anytime that, like, Crunchy got aggressive in main and died, right, but he was pulling, like, 3 eyes to him, and then they traded for Pixel in the back, right? That seems like a very consistent thing I can rely on here. And right now, no one watching left flank. Hello? Crunchy just mounts through to their backline with the Midnight to start things off. Great pressure up top. Bones gets Vatu ulted, now stun caught. That's 3 dead in the blink of an eye.
That was a really, really, really good play. As I mentioned yesterday, the horse is your best friend in this game. And them using it along with the Midnight as well, that's a really good touch. And it got them a really good set of kills. Like, literally, they were just lined up for Crunchy to run in and just clean up. Really good play.
I mean, Crunchy, yeah, he set up behind. As soon as he said he's behind, that was the go button for that Midnight. It let them just immediately get the fight started. But ult's coming out now. That's Eevee ult and King Bomb coming through. He's looking for someone to find. Looks like he just blew it up in main and kited away. Now Rom aggressive with his ultimate, forcing that Immortal out from Invocal. Trades are actually going in the way of Unfair right now with the Maeve down, but so much sustain still left on the side of Sophia as they live in main, but with no pressure on high ground. This is a lost push. I think they have to give it up. Crunchy at this point just trying to get more ult charge and apply a little bit of damage. If they kite away though, they have one more chance to fight here. But their style of pushing, I feel like, is so methodical. Do they have the time to set up Maeve and Vatu to actually make it work?
Even if it doesn't go for them right now, I think they're still in the advantage. If we go back to the draft, there is no barrack that might just stall them for ages.
No way.
So they've got a really good chance now, I think. Either way, I just want to see how Red Team respond to this. Because they've been grouping up quite a lot. They don't seem to have so much of an idea of what they want to do to defend.
Leighton actually is definitely the target here. Leighton is so low, he has to use that assert dominance, but that will kind of mess with their plan here. He was the free pick that they could rely on, and now this Ashe is alive in the backline, but because of Grover, Leighton can't be healed, so Leighton goes down. All he did was buy time, but the rest of them need to survive, but Alex is up top. On top of Pixel, finding that kill. Avaleo getting hit with every single dagger from Vatu, forced to disengage. Just Grover alive now. Bones even knows that it's over. Sophia with a clean 4-0 to start things off today.
Very, 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 very clean victory. Wow, that was a really good game. I think that was very much the draft, I'm going to say. We didn't see so much damaging champions. We saw a lot of very aggressive, flanky champions, and it played into their hands. We saw a lot of the red team being scattered and being left alone, as you saw right at the end. Ashe was on her own, having to defend, which left Bomb King alone. Bomb King having to defend against 2 flanks. It just seemed very much for chaos for red team.